Hi students, we are discussing about challenges in improving agriculture products. Challenges in improving agriculture products. So in last class we discussed about the hybrid varieties, and we also discussed about the transpirations. So we discussed about how much amount of NPK is required to the plants, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassiums. So today we are going to discuss about crop rotation. There is crop rotation. So what is crop rotation? Rotation of crops. So every year farmer has to not cultivate same crop in the same field, because there is a NPK is present in the soil, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. If same crop using in every year, what happens? For examples, you are using a cotton crops, you are cultivated cotton crops in the fields. So cotton is required like potassium. For example, potassium is required more for the crop. Cotton crops grow. Every year you are cultivating cotton, so what happens? The potassium present in the soil will be decreased. Every year it will be decreased. Even though you are using more pesticides, compost, fertilizers, there is no use, because the land will be infertile. The land is infertile, so we cannot grow crops in the field. That is very, very dangerous. That's why, so 1 year you go for cotton, another year you go for the jowar, another year you go for the groundnut. Like a crop rotation should be there. When you are doing crop rotations, so the nutrients will be added into the soil. The nutrients is added into the soil. So that's why crop rotation is also very, very good method for increasing of soil fertility. Increasing of soil fertility. So there are some nutrients is there. I told you what are the nutrients is present in the soil and what are their uses. So it is very, very important. This small table is very, very important. The nutrients present in the soil is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. What is the use of nitrogen present in the soils? So this nitrogen is very, very useful for the plants. New leaves and flowers arises. New leaves and flowers arises from the stem of the plants, whether it is crop or plants. When the plenty of nitrogen is there in the soil, plants cannot take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. Plenty of nitrogen is there in the atmosphere. 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, but the plants cannot take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. You should remember that. So this nitrogen will be absorbed by the plants by the roots. So there is a legume plant like rhizobium, bacteria convert the atmosphere into nitrogen to nitrates. When converted nitrogen from nitrogen to nitrate, plant will be absorbed. This nitrogen is very, very useful for the plants. For the new leaves and the flowers will be arises from the stems, from the branches. If nitrogen is not there sufficient, so new leaves will be not arises, flowers will be not arises. So this phosphorus help the roots to penetrate deep in the soil. Help the root penetrate Penetrate deep in the soil. Deep in the soil. When the phosphorus, plenty of phosphorus is there, so this phosphorus helping the roots, helping the stem, helping the plants and crops to penetrate properly in the soil. When the crops, when the plants are penetrate properly in the soil, it can easily grow. By wind it will not follow. By animals touching it will not follow, it will not damage. Penetration is very, very important for the plants and the crops. So if it properly penetrate, it will absorb the water present from the soils, the water, the nutrition is present from the soils. So the nutrition dissolve into the soil, dissolve into the waters from the soil. The nutrients are absorbed by these roots. By this roots for the growth and the development of the plants, nutrition is required, salts is required, sodium is required, magnesium is required, calcium is required. They will get from the soils. This is also very, very important. Then what is the use of potassium? This potassium have a resistant towards pest. Resistant towards pest. And increase the quality of smell. Increase the quality of smell, quality of color, and like other formulas. So, and like fruits also. Because of this potassium, what is the resistance toward the pest? So if any insects or any diseases occurs to the plants, if they do not have a resistant powers, immunity powers, they will die. They will die, plants will be dying. If they have more resistance, if they have more immunity powers, even though disease occurs, even the pests comes, they will protect from the diseases and the pest. So that resistance will be increased by the potassium. By the potassium is very, very important to the plants. Resistant toward the pest, increase the quality of smell. Flowers will give very good smell because of potassium. Color will be very beautiful. The plenty of potassium is there, the color will be beautiful. And bearing of more fruits because of potassium. These are the nutrients compulsory required to the plants to grow for nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. How then what is the use of this crop rotation? Crop rotations. Cultivating of mixed crops. Next one is cultivating of mixed crops. In your textbook, they have given some cultivation of mixed crops. Look at the cultivation of mixed crops. What they given 113, page number 130. Soya grows along with the pea. Soya grow along with the pea. Pea grown along with the green gram. Green gram. Corn grown along with the black gram. Corn grow along with the black gram. Groundnut grow along with the sunflower. Sorghum grown along with the pea. Groundnut grown along with the red crop. These are the mixed crops. What is mixed crops? Instead of growing one crop in a field, farmers will cultivate two crops at a time. Crops are at a time. In one line, soya, another line, pea. One line pea plants, another line green grams. Like so, simultaneously they will cultivate two crops. Very, very useful these crops. For example, soya required nitrogen, pea required phosphorus. Opposite should be there. Opposite crops should be cultivated in mixed crops. So then there is no competition between the soya and the pea. Green gram, groundnut add plenty of nitrogen into the soil. From the groundnut, soil will be get more nitrogens. So this red grams need more nitrogens. So groundnut adding nitrogen into the soil, red gram observing nitrogen from the soil. So these are the very good method to cultivate mixed crop in the soils. Okay, students. So today we learn only two very important. One is what is crop rotation. Crop rotation, cultivating different crops in different years. In Rabi season, if you cultivated red gram, in Rabi season, if you cultivated red grams or black grams, then you will go for the coriander and other fields, like other crops. So nutrients are very important, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Then the use is very useful, and mixed crops. Okay, today homework. So crop rotation, these are very important for 2 marks and very important for sometimes they will ask 4 marks also. At least we will get 1 marks question from this area. Crop rotation, right? Crop rotation, this table compulsory, and I told you mixed crops, I gave some names. Compulsory you should write mixed crop, what is the use of mixed crop. Okay, thank you students.